Mary Beth with Thorngren Studio Arts in our 16th episode. I'm glad you guys have joined us. We're still continuing fall. Getting close to Halloween, I thought the black crow would be a good image to do today. 8x10 canvas. And I've covered it, grounded it with a light lavender, not a purple, and a little more white. Good coverage. I'm going to do something different this time, and I'm going to sketch the image along with you. So you don't have to pause, but if you need to catch up, that's perfectly all right. And as you can see, my image that I printed out is in a square format. And remembering that our reference is just something what we refer to, what we go by, not necessarily that it has to look exactly like the reference. Just something that we have to look at and go by. It is in a square format. Our canvas is in a rectangle. So one of the rules of composition, instead of placing my crow right in the middle, that would create a very stagnant composition, very boring. Since my crow is looking to the left, I'm going to place him a little bit over to the right so that there's a little more breathing room, is what we call it, for this beak. Right now in this particular composition, he's right butted up against the edge, and you won't want to do that in any of your when you're composing. Make sure that you give enough space at the bottom and the sides so that it's not so cramped and creates a stagnant composition. So I've got an ultramarine blue and a tad bit of black. As a rule, I don't like to use black, but I'm going to use this. It's more of a blue-black, so I can get my image sketched on there and it is visible. And I've got a thin brush, and I'm keeping my mixture quite fluid so that my sketch can flow nicely. And I'm going to start at the bottom where this edge of the rock is, and like I said, I'm not going to put it right dab in the middle. I'm going to come off a little bit off center. And I'm going to go up to that first claw, and I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see. Oh. All right, first claw. Not really concerned about accuracy right now. I'm just getting the outer contour line. And remember, you can always use your brush as a measurement, a measuring device showing how long that leg of this crow is. It's going to stop right about there. If you need to use a pencil, that's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with at this point. Moving up, just moving this way. And listen to my voice. I'm talking about the directions. This way, the head, and down, beak. Try to get it all in one quick stroke so I don't have to fiddle too much with it. And those feathers, those tail feathers are going to go right off the end. And for that negative space down at the bottom, there's a little piece right in there. It's going to show me where that other feather is going to come up. A little feather there, a little negative space. And hopefully it all connects. Yeah, pretty much. Now I can go back and refine a little bit. On birds' beaks, as a rule from birds, the separation, the line between the top and the bottom, comes out into the face, and then you go up just a little bit to get where that eye socket is. If you need to measure again, see we got the distance there, and then we can even do a little bit of distance between the end of this beak, the top and the bottom. We look for where things line up. About a half of the fingertip. Perfect. I'm just refining my drawing right now. I'm just going to sketch in some of the darker areas. It's all very sketchy and loose. You can start refining as you go. Remember, we just want to get the coverage. Very loose. I can come in and get my feather groupings. Things are lining up. You've got this big piece of feather here and then a cap here. And I'm noticing I need to come out a little bit more. Refining as I go, always. It comes in, and it goes out, comes in. I get most of my feather groupings sketched in. Very limited palette. This light lavender is going to be part of the finished. As you can see in my sketch, I've left that lavender peeking through, which is really exciting. Group of feathers down here. Okay, I'm going to put my small brush aside, and I'm going to go back to my large brush that I did my initial grounding heavier wash. And since I have my bird facing to the left, I'm going to have him facing a little into a lighter version of the lavender. I'm just going to go over that and kind of clean up my edges as I go. Edges of the sketch of the crow, that is. I'm going to have him looking into a little bit more of a lighter area, like an atmosphere. And that's going to transition from a darker. I'm leaving my brush strokes for an added element in this very simple painting. Have a little more darker purple down below. Working quickly to take advantage of the wet on wet, and blending softly into that white area. Okay, put that aside. I won't need the big brush again. And now the rest of the painting is just resolving, refining, slowing down. You need to pause and really study. I'm going to start from dark, and I'm going to work my way to the light. So I've got a little more black this time into my ultramarine blue. Tap a little more blue. More black to start off with. And I'm just going to plop down wherever I see the darkest darks. Paying close attention to the edges of the crow so that they have a little movement. Each one of these feathers are kind of wisping out. It's not a flat, straight, black edge. Dark edge, rather. Up underneath here. A little more water. I feel that dragginess. Up underneath all of these feathers. See my dark. Now I'm going to go in a little bit more blue, less black. I don't even need to change my brush or clean it out. And now I'm just going to go into like a mid-tone, wherever see the next to dark, middle gray, so to speak. Leaving those little pieces and just a little, every once in a while I'll kind of just do a dry brush effect, just dry over to see that purple peeping through. Just painting the directions of the way the feathers are laying on the structure of the bird. More dark. Okay, now I'm going to go into a kind of a turquoise into my ultramarine blue. I have this light blue right here, which, by the way, when you see Adrienne start her painting, she went ahead and did her background a light blue. So it's up to you, however you want to. If you want to do a light purple or a light blue. Now I'm just going in and I'm painting the next color up that I see. It's not the lightest light. Just placing it in wherever I see those. Just one stroke on some of these feathers. Just put your brush down and pull it down. The last piece will be able to get the lightest light, not even cleaning my brush, going back into that turquoise and ultramarine blue, but this time I'm adding white. And now I'm just going to place the whites wherever, the lights, wherever I see those, just mixing as I go on the canvas. I will have to go off camera and refine a lot of this, but I want to keep the freshness of the stroke, so hopefully I don't overwork it, as I have the tendency to do. Okay, and for this rock, I'm just gonna stick with my color palette that I'm using, and I'm going to pretend that the darks are my ultramarine blue and black mixture. Plop in those darks real quickly. I'm gonna do his legs off camera. I'll need a real thin brush. That is the shadow, placing that on the rock. Little indication just to show that he is on a rock. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white, leaving all those nice little purple places. So then you can catch up with me. I will refine my edges and clean up things and tighten up a little bit more. I don't want to tighten up too much. I want to keep the freshness that I achieved in the initial sketch. This is the canvas that Adrienne will be using, and notice the light blue. So go back, you do have a choice. You will receive this image to work from. And I hope you enjoyed today's lessons. I look forward to seeing you next week, and happy painting. Thank you.